Mascot platformers, those were popular in the 90s, right? Super Mario, Cool Spot, Ristar, Zool, Glover. Everyone and their mother was clamouring to put a famous face on a body that jumped up and down in virtual form, but why bother to think of a fresh new character when you can just take a character people are already familiar with, if they're from the UK, and they're in the age range of about 4 to 10?
Yes. At this point, we approach what could be a technical problem, in that my earpiece isn't working at all. Wilson, yeah, is your earpiece working? Can you hear anything at all? Wilson, can you hear anything at all either? No, neither can I. Well, we know it's about 2 minutes 40 long, so we shall carry on.
Edd the Duck was children's BBC's star, currently the world record holder for having the most hands shoved up his backside on children's television, which isn't an easy record to beat in the UK. Beloved by the masses, both young and old, hilarious comic timing, a sock puppet that made annoying noises might not seem like it'd lead to success, but Andy Crane actually did pretty well when paired up with Edd. He could even speak the same language.
How long did it take you to learn fluent duck?
Well, it was a skill that we sort of established fairly early on, really. I mean, everybody thinks he just goes quack, 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 but he does. No, you don't, do you? You talk properly, don't you? You can speak the Queen's English on this auspicious day for Her Majesty the Queen. He can speak the Queen's English. You met the Queen, I know you have, yeah.
Not only did Edd star alongside Andy with a Y, he also starred alongside Andy with an I, and he came to prominence alongside another character, Wilson, who was a gloved hand, and all of this took place in a broom cupboard. Look, to any non-British people watching this right now, I know you're probably wondering just what on earth this fever dream of noise is all about, and I'm afraid to say, this is just exactly what all television was like in the UK in the 80s and 90s. You just learned to live with it. Edd the Duck was introduced in 1988, and at the height of his stupid popularity, in 1990, Brian Buchan and David Taylor teamed up to create the mascot platformer to end all mascot platformers. With their experience in such games as VR Kung Fu and Kenny Dalglish Soccer Manager, they were the perfect choice for a game designed specifically for children about a duck made of cloth who has to jump. The game isn't very good. It's weird, because initially the game looks fine. I mean, fine if you can handle colour clash, but I'm an expert at that. On the face of it, everything looks like it's set up pretty well. Platform's platform, enemy's enemy. Edd the Duck doesn't duck, but at least he jumps, and surely that's all you really need to get the ball rolling. But there's this thing called game design. It's quite popular now, but it wasn't invented until Doom 2 came out, so developers just had to guess, and unfortunately, the guesses were often shite. First things first, the game looks like Rainbow Islands. That's a pretty clear inspiration for the brightly coloured vertical levels on offer here. But instead of pissing rainbows at insects, that was probably deemed a bit too violent for children's TV, and they instead opted to give Edd a snowball firing machine. A snowball firing machine that doesn't kill anything. This means that your impact on levels is reduced to a temporary nothingness. You don't kill enemies, you just briefly freeze them in place and make them harmless for a moment, which is all well and good until you have to bypass multiple enemies or retrace your steps, because you are constantly put in a position of having to rush past things in order to not get hit the second they thaw out. It removes any sort of satisfaction you'd get from cleaning out a level, because there is no cleaning out the level. The enemies are there, and they will always be there. And unfortunately, they're often there even when you can't see them. The game has this annoying jump height. You can't control it, you always jump that high, but the screen doesn't accommodate for it a lot of the time, so you just end up twatting your head off something you couldn't even see. And then the game generally plonks you back at the start so you can do it all over again. And with all the enemies still there, just waiting to be gently inconvenienced by your rubbish weapon. There are stars to collect here, and when we consider game design, it's quite easy to go and look at the original Super Mario Bros. Coin placement to see what the issue is in comparison to Edd the Duck. The coins are generally always cleverly placed as a pathway, teaching the player to move at the specific arcs the game was intended for. In Edd the Duck, the stars are, for the most part, placed in situations for two reasons. Number one, to kill you off because they're swarmed by enemies so much that the game can barely even accommodate them. Or two, in a place that requires you to leap off a platform and fall back to a previous area of the level, extending the already tiresome playtime as you make your way back to where you were. On first playing the game I thought, sod it, who needs stars? This is just Rainbow Islands, right? I'll just get to the top and fight a boss and the stars will just be for points or lives or something. Oh, there is no conclusion to the level, it just ends. There's a ceiling. This isn't how you complete a level. You have to collect all the stars. What fun! I can't tell you the amount of effort and wherewithal it took to reach even level 7 of this game. I've played many a bad game this year, but something about Edd the Duck just absolutely takes the crown. It's a complete absence of joy. I know you don't need me to tell you any of this. I know none of you were sat there thinking, I tell you what, something I haven't tried, Edd the Duck for the ZX Spectrum. I'll go and give it a bash now, but first, I better check a review to see if it is worth my time. No one is thinking that. I've put myself through this horseshit for absolutely no reason, because no one else is going to play it anyway. None of you are that stupid, but please, in the name of all things Utree, do not play this. This is the very definition of tedium and nuisance combined. I save stated my way through the game, and I had to do that a fair bit because, as previously mentioned, most of your deaths come from things you simply cannot see. And even when I knew what was coming up, thanks to said save stating, I kept rushing because I just wanted to get this over with, and I'd end up falling for the same shit over and over again. Here's a small compilation of just what I've had to deal with.
This is Edd the Duck, an awesome dude.
What's that? It's Edd the Duck.
Before I was happening, Duckman Zero. Now I'm around Edman's hero.
Edd means hero.
So rap with me to this cool ballad. I'm telling you now, I'm one funky melody.
One funky melody.
So check this out, there is no doubt when Edd's in town, we're chilling out.
We're chilling out.
That tedium is compounded by the fact nothing really changes. Levels look virtually identical to one another, and the theme of each level doesn't change until you've gotten through a batch of 3 of them. When that theme does eventually change for the first time, it becomes space themed, and I just want you to see if you can spot the issue of readability when it comes to a game in which you're supposed to collect all the stars on a level. Background stars. Who thought this was a good idea? The readability of this game is bad enough anyway. You're never quite sure if something is supposed to be a platform or not at the best of times. Why on earth would you decorate your level with a facsimile of something you're supposed to be collecting? I genuinely think the developers hate children. I feel like this entire game is built to spite anyone who made the mistake of buying it. Another 3 stages down and we reach level 7. A level in which enemy placement has now been approached with the nuance of a 12 gauge to the face. This is brutal. I've played arcade games that feel fairer than this, but that's not really the issue with level 7. On reaching the very top and grabbing that last star, there's one star left? I don't think I missed any. Let's just make our way back through the level, I guess.
Now I ain't good, I'm bad, can't you see? They call me Ed, that's E-double-D.
E-double-D.
Yeah.
Hip-hop happening and totally cool. I'm Edd the Duck and I'm an awesome dude.
What the hell? Where is this final star?
Hip-hop happening and totally cool.
Oh look everyone, it's Stephen the Sock. Say hello, Stephen. Now, Stephen's here to tell us all a little secret, aren't you, Stephen? Yeah. No, not that secret, Stephen. Remember, that's for the courts to decide. No, the other secret. Yeah, Stephen's right. That secret can be found on SpectrumComputing.com. Did they really forget to put the final star in level 7, Stephen? Oh, aren't they silly? So the game is actually impossible to complete unless you use a poke. And there's also graphical glitches all the way throughout level 7, isn't there? And you also need individual pokes for that. Oh, wow. They really didn't give a fuck, did they, Stephen? They absolutely shat this one out of their arse, didn't they? What a load of fucking shit. Isn't that right, Stephen? Isn't that right? Well, I think we can both agree that this has been an incredible waste of everyone's time, hasn't it? Shall we wave goodbye for now, Stephen? Okay, it's nearly time for bed. Say bye, Stephen.
What's that? Say duck. It's Edd the Duck. Hey, Edd.
Before I was happening, Duck meant zero. Now I'm around, Ed means hero.
Edd means hero.
So rap with me to this cool ballad. I'm telling you now, I'm one funky melody.
He's one funky melody.
So check this out, there is no doubt when Ed's in town, we're chilling out.